If we're going to be opening and closing files, we need to include the Fstream header file. So I'm going to include this. So Fstream. And then let's say that so I have a file here that the name of this file is E. coli 40.txt. And basically what this is the DNA sequence for, well, a really small piece of the DNA sequence for E. coli. This is actually really long, like probably hundreds of thousands of letters. So this is a really short chunk of E. coli. And I have the 40 because this is 40 characters. So what I want to do is read in this file. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm reading in characters, so I'm going to have a character, and I'm just going to call this E. coli character, just to be descriptive. And then, since I'm going to be inputting the file, I need an ifstream object, and I'm just going to call it input file. And then I need to open the file, so I'm going to have input file dot open, and then I'm going to put the name of the file here. So it is E. coli 40.txt. And notice how I put the name of the file in as a string. Input file, and then E. coli character, and then I'm going to just display what it reads in. So it's going to read in a character, store it to E. coli character. Well, it's going to read in a character from the file, store it to the variable E. coli character, and so I want to display what it read in. So let's do E. coli character, and let's do a end line. And then down here, since I have a file open, I'm basically done with it at this point. I'm going to close the file. So input file dot close. So let's compile this. Let's see. All right, so basically it printed out A, so A should be the first character that's in this file, and it is. Okay, so we got one character, but we don't want just one character, we want to read in the entire file, right? So we can do that with a loop, and so what we can do is we can say while input file, and then just move this up. I'm going to put, oops. All right. So basically what this is doing, this looks kind of weird, but what this is doing is I'm reading in, so I have the input file, so I'm reading a character from the file, storing it to my variable E. coli character, and as long as it successfully gets a character from the file, this will be true. So this while loop will be true as long as it gets a character. If it reaches the end of the file, it's not going to get a character, and so then this while loop will become false, and it's going to stop reading the file. So basically this while loop is going to exit. So let's see if this works. And then I have, like, each time this runs, it's going to print out the character that it's getting from the file. So I'm going to take this end line off just so it prints them all in a line how they are in the original file. So I'm just going to do an end line here. So let's run this. Alright, so now it looks like, that basically looks like the file. So here's the file, and here's what it read in and then printed to the screen. So it's read in every character, and then as soon as it got to the end of the characters, and so it failed to read So it failed to read in a character, and so this while loop became false and it exited the loop. What if we wanted to check and see if our file had even opened? And so we can do something like if, and if we put input file, if the file failed to open, this input file is going to be false. If the file opened, this is going to be true. So we can use this to check and see if the file opened so we did this file open command here, and then we can check and see if the file opened, and we can put this while loop inside of this if statement. So then it's only going to read from the file if it opened. And then we can do a else, and then just do a cout file. I'm just going to say error opening file. So this is a good thing to do when you open files. If your file didn't open, you want to know that it didn't open. We've been doing all of this with opening a file. Let's say that we want to open this file, read in the E. coli data, and then save it to another file. So to save this to another file, we're going to want to do the Fstream. So Fstream, and then output file, and then we're going to open that file. So output file.open. And then I'm just going to, I can call this basically whatever I want. So I'm just going to call this E. coli output.txt. So now we have the output file open. Now, along with printing this to the screen, let's also save it to the output file. So we're going to have output file, and then E. coli character. So basically I'm reading in so I've opened a file, I'm reading in the characters, so I'm reading in each E. coli character individually. And each time I save one, each time I read one in, I'm saving it to this variable E. coli character, and then I'm going to the output file, and I'm basically outputting this E. coli variable to this output file. And then after I'm done with all of that, I also want to close my output file. So output file.close. Alright, so let's compile and run this. And looks like I have error somewhere. Oh yeah. Did what it did previously. It read in these characters and displayed them to the console. But let's go see if it created the file. So it should be E. coli 40 output.txt. So I'm going to go see if I can find that file. No, it's right there. So it also created this file and output to the file. Alright, so I want to show you one thing that we might want to do, because in this program I'm hard coding in the name of the file, but a lot of times we might want to ask the user for the name of the file. So to do that, we're going to need a string, because we're going to get the file name from the user as a string. So I'm just going to call this string file name. And we need the string library, so pound include string. And then I'm going to ask the user for the file name, so cout, enter the file name, and then cin file name. And then what I'm going to do is replace file name, so where I have this, the name of the file right here, I'm going to put file name in, so file name. And I think that should do it. So let's see if this runs. So now it's asking for the file name, so I'm going to give it E. coli 40.txt. And so now it does the same thing, only this time I got the file name from the user instead of hard coding it directly in. So the thing I want to point out with this file name is you can do it like this in C++ 11. If you're using an older version of C++, so in C++ 11, so basically a newer version of C++, you can just give it, you can just send this open function string. But if you are using an older version of C++, this is going to require a C string. And we haven't talked about C strings yet, that's in chapter 10. But just so that you know what a C string is, a C string is basically a character array that's terminated with a null character. And so if you're using an older version of C++, you need to send this open function a string, or a C string instead of a string. And so you're going to need to convert the string into a C string. So the way you do that is this file name is currently like this, this file name variable is a string. So we're just going to do dot C string. And this is going to, this C_str function is a function in the string library that's going to convert your string to a C string. So you might see this in older code or legacy codes, or if you're using a pre-C++ 11, then you'll need to convert the string to a C string. So I wanted to show you that, even though we haven't covered C strings yet, just because that's something you might see as you're working with files.